It's time now for the early alert. Brian Good here, and really this is going to focus a lot on Nate, and I will show you the 14-day trend, but mainly a Nate discussion, and we'll get into a longer-term stuff once we get past this weekend. First off, here's a look at the view from space, the visible satellite. Notice a lot of cloud cover in Indiana, more holes in the clouds, and a broken mix of clouds and blue sky for those of us in Kentucky. So certainly it's going to be a warmer day in Kentucky than Indiana. That we can just tell by looking at the satellite image. Now let's add on the rainfall. It's been steady to the north and a little more broken to the south. In fact, some decent showers, good soaking rain for those of you that have gardens that have been thirsty, maybe some annuals that have still survived somehow. We've got decent rain right now into Bedford all the way to North Vernon. Spotty showers off to the south, and we'll see that trend continue. I went ahead and raised the rain chance up slightly for parts of Indiana and northern Kentucky, mainly because the atmosphere profile is indicating that the dry air kicks in right about Breckinridge County and Grayson County and J-Town into portions of Henry County. That is where the dry air should eat alive anything that tries to work in from the west. So I'll raise the rain chance up slightly for that area in the green. For those who got the alert on your phones, that's the reason why. Spotty though. The steadier rain's going to be up there. Bedford, Seymour, North Vernon area, all the way to maybe Madison. So lucky you. So here's the game plan. Here is the high res on the RPM model. It did pretty good on initializing, but it didn't do great on picking up that little spotty activity of the showers in western Kentucky. That's why I want to account for that. This afternoon, most of that will fade out later this afternoon. Temperatures will have a late day high temperature rebounding, if you will, of highs in the city, about lower 80s. Maybe a touch higher if we get more sun than clouds than expected this afternoon. But I didn't want to play around with numbers. Lower 80s in general. All right, then tonight we're fine. Tomorrow, overall, looking dry. The boundary lifts back north again, so I've taken the rain chance out. I just don't really see much happening tomorrow. I'll evaluate it later, and so will, of course, Ryan later today, but I'm not too thrilled about it. And then as we head into Saturday, well, here's where problems come in. We got a front that is going to be approaching from the west over here, and at the same time, we're starting to see some of that tropical feed coming in from Nate being fed northeast bound. There will likely be a gap between the two. So the challenge we have is to figure out where that little moisture stream is going to arc out first. Is it going to be Lake Cumberland to Lexington, or is it going to arc out a little more toward Louisville, or way to our southeast? We don't know that for sure yet. I just see two distinct bands of rain that we'll have to track, and it may be a situation where Louisville and much of Wave Country fits in between the two. As we head into the afternoon, you see how it starts to pick it up on the eastern side here of Wave Country, and then into the evening. Not too thrilled about the frontal part, but the front, as we've been talking about all week, it's not going to come through. It's going to be draped like this, which is going to allow for Nate to move northbound into the Tennessee Valley. So Saturday's rain chance is not overly high. I got it at 6% to account for a surge of rain after midnight more than anything. I think during the daytime period here, we're talking about 30%. Which leads us now into Nate. Tropical storm Nate. It is interacting with Nicaragua and in Honduras. A mountainous area. The center of it is about here, so most of the thunderstorms are way out from it. The core of them are, but the recent flare-up at the center is what allowed them to upgrade it to a storm. It will likely weaken a bit with the land interaction, and then it'll have a chance to pull off to the west. There is a trough that is now in the, I have it off screen here, that is drifting, small area of low pressure southwest of Florida. It's going to be drifting into the other side of the Yucatan Peninsula. Nate is waiting for it to get out of the way. Once that happens, then Nate has free reign to go north. So that's a key player too. If something goes wrong in that progression of that wave heading backwards over the Yucatan, that would affect the path of Nate down the road and the intensity. So something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. Either way, we talked about this yesterday. The trend looked like it was going to be there for it to go more west than east. But then it will feel the effects of the approaching front that will be approaching us. So at some point, it's going to sense it and react to it and begin to catch on to the westerlies and turn east. How quickly does that happen? Good question. As of now, the track takes it into southeast Kentucky with the zone of cone of uncertainty all the way into Louisville. The model ensembles, pretty widespread for the cone right now. Some take it all the way west of Louisville, and some take it to our east. The concentrated area is still eastern Kentucky here. This is important because most of the wind, and we're not talking about Ike, let me stress that, but most of the wind, gust 30 miles per hour higher, and higher rain totals, more than 4 inches, are going to be on the eastern and southeast side of Nate. So the path is important in that sense. If the path were to take it like this, then most of the rain is going to fall southeast of us, which is how it looks now. But if this other ensemble here is right and it takes too much of a western jog, then it'll put it west of Louisville, which would then put Wave Country into that southeast quadrant, and then we'll be facing some gustier winds and some heavier rain totals. So that's why the track is more important than anything when it comes to impacts, and that's something we'll be watching for. Here's the the pressures from the GFS. Again, these greens and blues are lower pressures, yellows the higher. This is the system of NATE. The GFS is not too thrilled on its pressure right now. It's very weak with it, even drifted into the Mississippi. This is NATE. Very hard to even see in the pressure field. And then you start to see a hint of it right there as we into Monday, moving across central and southeast Kentucky, and then it's gone. But then the high pressure takes a while to get in here. Right now it looks like it's not going to arrive until Thursday. So we will still deal with the warmth and chance for thunderstorms even after NATE passes until we get this high pressure to build in with the front, and that may take until Thursday according to the GFS. Pretty slow. So the NATE is delaying things a bit, and then we'll deal with high pressure all the way through that following weekend, which is good there. The Euro does see the pressure being a bit lower with NATE just north of the Yucatan Peninsula. Takes it into southern areas of Mississippi, and then it fades it out. All we have left is a little blip right there, and then it takes it on a similar path really to GFS. It certainly took a much more of a jog to the GFS idea in the past 24 hours. And then it fades out, but it does not rush in that front either, although it is a bit faster than what the GFS does. Here's Tuesday. Still some showers and thunderstorms possible in our area. The high hasn't taken over yet. As we head into Wednesday, Euro says it has taken over by Wednesday. So it's nearly a 24-hour difference on when the high pressure takes over and the drier, cooler air wins out. We'll see. We'll fine-tune that. Just don't be surprised if we extend the 80s out for a while here for early next week. And then high pressure will dominate thereafter. So at the moment, for the potential for heavy rain, I'm talking about more than 4 inches, maybe more than half a foot. The good thing is about NATE, by the way, its forward motion is fast enough. I don't see this being a huge issue on flooding, and we need the rain. But having said that, still 4 inches of rain or more can lead to some localized flash flooding, so it's something worth watching. But at the moment, the east and right side of NATE would put the best potential for those kind of totals south of us, and we'll be in the chance zone for potential if the track were to shift. That's I'm going to range it for now. Looking at wind speeds, not too terribly bad. These are wind potential gusts, 30 to 35 miles per hour, maybe mainly in southern Kentucky, south and east, where the center is. That's where your wind gusts over 30 miles per hour will be, and then much calmer to the north side, and then everything improves after that. So here's your 14-day. You'll notice that I've got us 80s right now until Wednesday. Then the front moves in, and then the cool air, because it's not rushing in now, it's being delayed a bit, it's not going to be overly dramatic. We're looking at maybe one day in the upper 60s, but we may end up staying 70s the whole time for this next cool wave, so it does not look as cool as it did. It's still a lot better than what we were dealing with now. And then another low drops in, and this is a trough that's trying to dig in to the eastern part of the country in the Ohio Valley. Still a lot of question marks here on how that will evolve and how cool that one will be, but I'll at least put a hint to it on the 14-day, and we'll fine-tune it. That's it for today, guys. I will talk to you on midday and later tomorrow.